We can be addicted to a person. More accurately, we can be addicted to how they make us feel about ourselves. Usually when we think of sex addiction, we think of pornography or masturbation or affairs or some kind of illicit behavior or paraphilia. But we can absolutely be sexually addicted to an individual. There are people that we've worked with who have been happily married, but then they meet somebody, and many times, I'll just use the man as an example, this man meets a woman who she seems to be so much more understanding and interested in him and admiring of him and open to him and maybe flattering of him and interested in him. And he finds this impossible to resist. Because in marriage, our spouse, even the best spouse, can't be like that all the time. We have bills to pay and kids to raise and problems to solve. But somebody outside of the marriage who just showers us with flattery and affirmation and praise, that's really hard to ignore. We need to, okay? Or our heart will begin to siphon off to that person. And that is oftentimes the beginning of an affair. A lot of affairs start out as emotional. In fact, an emotional affair is an affair. It's an affair of the heart. It just hasn't culminated physically yet. But that man or that woman who finds that affair partner, they can absolutely become addicted to them because they need them to fill in what they think is missing in their marriage, or that person does certain things sexually, or that person has a way about them. And we become so desperate to experience that we can't imagine living without that person. But that's not being in love with a person. Being in love with an individual is knowing them, their hopes, their dreams, their sins, their failures, their dark side, and interacting with that honestly and vulnerably, and being likewise open with them about ourselves. That's what love looks like, even romantic love. And that's the kind of thing we should be sharing with our spouse. If that's not happening in your marriage, then you guys are in trouble. Don't look to another person. Get counseling. Find out what's going on. Because just about everybody who's left their marriage for another person has regretted it. Some have made it work. We've worked with people who are now with their husband or wife is the affair partner they left their previous marriage for, and they're having problems. Because there are problems in marriage, so that's not the answer. But we can be addicted to a person. More accurately, we can be addicted to how they make us feel about ourselves. And that's really tricky. We can be in love with the feeling of being in love. And we can also be addicted to someone's approval. We can be desperate for another person's approval or acceptance or affirmation. And for most of us, that's where the primary addiction lies. We're not getting that adequately from the Lord or from good friends or in a marriage, so we look for it elsewhere. It's really an approval addiction, what so many call codependency. And that's the root issue even behind sexual addictions.